Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. We're going to be continuing on with Side Projects Week, and this one we're going to look at a band that has actually been requested quite a bit, and it is kind of a super group. We have Nova Collective, a side project of Dan Briggs of Between the Buried and Me, Richard Hensel of Haken, and an ex-Haken keyboardist. One of ex-Haken's keyboardists and the drummer from Trioscapes. And we've listened to all three of these bands. I think we've listened to all three, and they're all phenomenal. So I am real excited for this super group. I guess let's just get into this because it's bound to be good, right? I'm not really sure what time signature this is, but it is funky, and it's got a nice groove. So I'm pretty confident we're in 11-4, but I don't think it matters. Like, this is just so, I don't know, it's so good. Time signature does not matter right now. We're getting some Rush feel in that bass though. Maybe it's more of the overall progression of the bass. Alright. I honestly thought we had a sax coming in, but really good technique on the keyboard to get that tone. thinking maybe that wasn't a keyboard. Keyboard stealing the show, but pay attention to that bass too. Drummers putting in work. As that dark progression again gives me that Rush feel. Nice little drum solo there. Alright, super cool. Like, easily beyond super cool. Really enjoyed that. So, yeah, I can see why that's so heavily requested. That is right up my alley. That has a lot of the stuff that I really enjoy. When we checked out Snarky Puppy and a couple of these other jammy bands, I feel like most of the jam bands that we've checked out really come from 70s prog stuff. And I don't think it's any coincidence that this feels heavily inspired by early prog. There's just, it's not even just the composition method, but a lot of the tones feel straight, ripped straight out of the 70s, which is really cool. I don't know if that's typical of them or if that's just something that happened. On this track, they were specifically paying homage to these tones or how that comes about. But yeah, just really enjoy this song, every bit of it. Everybody puts in work. Everybody's given a bit of a time to shine, a little bit of spotlight on everyone. I've only mentioned this once before on the channel. Drum solos. We don't hear them too often in songs. It's more of a performance thing. All right, you go see a concert and they'll play a few songs, and then the drummer will show off for a bit, maybe to let the vocalist rest or whatever. It's not something that people tend to incorporate into the music itself, which is kind of a shame. Vocalists, they get to shine all the time, especially if they're very strong vocalists. They always tend to write parts that allow them to hit, the extremities of their range, or, do some flourishes, put in some nice little runs. Guitarists get solos all the time. Bass solos are less frequent, but they do pop up. Just drum solos just never. Ugh. I don't know how that happened in rock and metal, but drum solos just aren't a thing, which kind of sucks because rock really comes from a lot of blues, and blues comes from a lot of jazz, and a lot of jazz has drum solos. It's one of the weird things that, to me anyways, it's weird. It's one of those things that didn't get picked up from jazz. Whereas, solos did. Guitar solos were introduced. Solos are a big part of jazz. I just don't know why the drum solo wasn't isn't utilized more often given the history of the genre, and where it takes inspirations from. So it's really nice to hear that here. The guitars even cut out a little bit. If they were present, they were a bit muted. To me, that section was mostly drum and bass, which is fairly popular composition technique in a lot of, especially swing. You'll cut out a lot of the high end, and the drummer doesn't typically solo by themselves like you'll see at a rock concert or a metal concert where it's pretty much just them. It is typically done with a bass line under it. I don't know if that's just because the bass tones are lower than a lot of the drums. Like some of the toms will get in there, but your cymbals, your snare are typically, the sound that we get is pitched higher than where a bass would typically be walking. And so I don't know how that kind of came about, the drum and bass thing, but yeah, it's just I loved hearing it, and the drummer killed it. The drummer killed it throughout. Everybody killed it throughout. Like I said, everybody was putting in work here, and it shows. Phenomenal piece. I would love to see this one played live because I think that these guys are just having a ton of fun. Um, it is a fun piece. It is happy. It is upbeat. It's energetic. It's got momentum to it, and there are a couple of sections that have a bit of darkness to them. They happen to just be those two progressions that give me the Rush feel, but they're not even entirely like dragging you down. We're not working with a bunch of like alternating between major and minor to get that sadness. It's not like a sadness darkness. It's just a little tinge of not bright and happy. uh, yeah, it's that kind of darkness where it's not bright. We're not talking about like emotions like sadness or despair or anything like that. It's just a darker tone and darker chord relations. Or I guess note relations. The two times it popped up, the first time was in the bass line. He was walking, so there wasn't chords there, and I don't remember hearing chords on the second. We might have been dealing with two tones, but I don't remember like full on chords. But yeah. So even those sections, they're not heavy or oppressive or sad or anything like that. They're just a little less bright, and I think it just adds character to the overall kind of identity of the piece. Um, so yeah, just tons of good stuff going on here. Um, the thing is that I don't really know if there's anything specific I can talk about just because, I mean, dude, there's a lot to take in here. But like some overarching themes we have is I've already talked a ton about the tone and the jamminess and just all of the inspiration from 70s prog that I'm feeling. But also, let's talk about some of those modern aspects. We have a lot of movement across ideas, which is definitely something that modern prog or maybe even prog metal has kind of popularized, where it's less about exploring a single idea or maybe being progressive in um, like a single phrasing and exploring a single phrasing than it is about changing up your sections frequently, constantly, drastically. Um, Very much the between the buried and me style of writing, where every minute you're doing something different. And while there is a cohesive string that kind of ties everything together, they did a really good job of making sure that each of the separate sections felt cohesive and part of a single idea. There was a core DNA running through the song. There was still a ton of variety in focus, in playing style, in composition technique. We were jumping all over the place with time signatures. So yeah, there's definitely some modern prog ideas going on in the composition itself, but also the playing, the craftsmanship, the individual runs feel modern. We have a lot of shredding in here, and I'm not saying that prog rock, classic prog, didn't have shred, but it's almost present through the entire song, and to me that's a very modern compositional idea, is to just kind of have a bunch of people tearing it up all the time. We constantly have 16th note runs in the keyboard and guitarist. The drummer's doing all sorts of fancy little embellishments and little ornamentations here and there on what would be standard drum parts. I think the drummer's also doing double time here or double work, because not only is he playing at a much higher level than what I mean, he could get away with a lot less and still have it sound phenomenal. Um, so he's doing the work of adding the ornamentation and making his lines sound more impressive and more difficult to play. But he's also doing a phenomenal job of making sense of these odd time signatures. The song starts out, maybe it didn't start out this way. I think it started in 4/4. It was a really fast 4/4, which makes me think it was faster than the song felt. So I think I was over counting, or I guess that would be under counting at a higher tempo. But I don't think it was too far off from a 4/4. Maybe we're talking like a 6/8 or a 3/4, just oddly syncopated rhythms in the melody lines. But there was one part in the middle. I said we were at 11/4, and the way I felt that was a group of 6 and a group of 5. So you had your full phrase, and then you had your full phrase minus a beat, which gave it that little hiccup as it started, the 6-beat bar again. So that was interesting. And then at somewhere near the end, we were entering something very close to 4/4. But again, with the rhythms, it doesn't feel like it. So I'm not really sure. And I don't know where to listen, because the drummer, he's got polyrhythms everywhere. All right. I don't, and he doesn't always pick the same instrument to work with the beat. He typically does pick one, and occasionally it is cymbals, but sometimes it's the bass kick, sometimes it's the snare. And without really having the sheet music in front of me, I can only really make guesses about what the time is, because everybody's kind of doing their own thing, which is impressive. But I'm getting a little distracted here. I'm talking about the drummer putting in the work to make these chaotic sections and these odd time signatures feel natural to the listener, at least, to bob along to. There's not any section in here that I really feel seems or hears sounds. It doesn't hear disjointed. It doesn't sound disjointed. I never really got to a point where I was like, wait, where's the beat? Okay, we got, jeez, just like I'm being thrashed around sonically. There was always a groove I could fall into, even if I didn't understand the groove. I could feel it. And a lot of that comes from the drum and the bass. They're just doing a phenomenal job at making sense of these chaotic time signatures and chaotic phrasing. So, yeah, like I said, putting in double the work there. Because it's not like he's playing simple stuff either, and he's simplifying the time to make it listenable. So, yeah, just golly, that guy. Makes me want to listen to more Haken. And I probably should, because we checked out Aquarius. I don't remember, had a mermaid on the CD cover, I think. And I really enjoyed some of the proggier elements of that. And then when we checked out one of their later songs, it was a bit more straightforward, kind of a hard rock track, if I remember right. And I enjoyed it for what it was, but I need to go back to whatever album that mermaid one was and check that out. Especially after listening to the drummer here. I don't remember if I paid too much attention to the drummer, because that was another song with a lot going on, and it was lengthier. But yeah, if this is the drummer from that album, I definitely got to check that one out now. Between the Buried and Me, I've got 2 albums I need to check out. And Trioscapes is a band that we need to revisit, because I remember enjoying them. I think they were like this, where it was like experimental math rock instrumental stuff. I don't know, dude. We've listened to so many bands in the last year, and it has been a year. I think the 8th or the 9th, whatever last Thursday was oh no, that would be like the 5th, and I think it is the 5th. Whatever last Thursday was, that was our 1-year anniversary of the channel. And I meant to do a video for it, just I don't know what to do for it, so it's going to be fashionably late, as all of my update videos tend to be. But yeah, getting back to this, all 3 all three bands that these members come from are phenomenal, and this just reminds me I need to check them all out further, because this was just phenomenal. So, this is where you guys come in. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Nova Collective and the song Cascades. I don't know what their typical music is, but this is a phenomenal introduction to them. Like I said, I was excited going in just knowing what bands these guys came from. I pretty much enjoyed everything that we've checked out so far from these bands, and to hear this, I mean, this is just a song of passion and love for music. Just phenomenal work. And you can tell, like I said, these guys are just having fun with it. Oh man, I think I'm gonna go watch a live version of this as soon as I turn this video off, because yeah, I can't not do that. In fact, there's a thing right here. Oh man, you know what? I think that's a cover though. Yeah, I think that's a cover of this track, not a playthrough. Alright, YouTube, you failed me on your recommendations. That is not what I wanted. Although, they do have the Further Side full album, so good recommendation there. Might have to check that one out too. Alright, back to the sign-off stuff. After you're done commenting, if you'd like to check out the description box, there's links in there for videos that YouTube has blocked, as well as links to the Patreon if you're interested in joining the Discord community and voting on future bands and themes. It's only $1 a month, pretty good deal, I think. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. It's a good deal. If you want to be part of the, if you want to have a bigger, more control, I guess, over the channel, kind of what direction we go in, that's the best way to go about doing that. And like I said, it's a pretty good deal. $1 a month. I mean, you can't even buy one cup of coffee for that. That's cheaper than coffee. Whoa, jeez. You know, I've been doing this for a year and I still have no idea where my microphone is consciously. Like, my sense of where things are is just, my microphone's here. I don't hit that very often, but the stupid arm, man, I hit that all the time. Like, I haven't been doing this. Like, I'm brand new to this. All right, yeah. It's also a subscribe and a like and a bell button if you'd like to press those. That help out the channel immensely. And if you're interested in getting updates about when I put stuff out, it can help you out immensely as well. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, as usual, with the next episode of this week's theme, which is side projects. All right, you guys, stay safe out there. Keep being awesome, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.